Here is a clip of, is this a Schiff responding to lawyers' lawsuits? Okay, all right, first we'll do Sekulow. So one of the House managers is Val Demings. She was formerly a police chief, I guess. And she gets up, she's, I don't know exactly what she was talking about per se, but she was mentioning a FOIA request. Some of what we know about internal emails, like I said earlier, the day yesterday was all about trying to subpoena documents from different agencies that were involved in trying to figure out why the money was being held up or what was going on, trying to justify it or trying to cover up the reasons for it. So Val Demings, she's from Florida, one of the House managers, she referred to FOIA lawsuits. She said, the president's lawyers may suggest that this House should have sought these materials in court or awaited further lawsuits under the Freedom of Information Act, aka FOIA lawsuits. Any such suggestion is meritless. FOIA lawsuits filed by third parties cannot serve as a credible alternative to congressional oversight. So she's saying, you should subpoena these documents. Our subpoenas were ignored. You should try and subpoena them now. And the idea that we would wait for reporters to get FOIA documents, FOIA lawsuits, would be ridiculous. These FOIA lawsuits are ridiculous substitution for congressional oversight, she's saying. And we do know some stuff from FOIA releases that the email exists, except for it's completely redacted. So all you know is that an email was sent from somebody at OMB to the Pentagon or the Pentagon to OMB. And maybe you see like the subject, like, Ukraine money, and then everything's redacted. So they want the original documents to see what they are. They know these exist. But they're saying these FOIA lawsuits are ridiculous. Now, Jay Sekulow, who is a radio talk show host and Donald Trump's personal attorney, and apparently does a little music on the side. I don't know if he was napping, because this was only like 3 o'clock. This is 6 o'clock at night. Maybe he was sleeping. Maybe he was checking his phone. Sometimes that happens around here. People are checking their phone. They hear something, they jump in, and they mishear it. But Sekulow, I didn't even hear the Fun Half convinced.
Song. We're already in the Fun Half?
He was convinced that he heard what had gone on, and he was outraged by these, what he misheard, FOIA lawsuits. He heard something else.
And by the way, lawyer lawsuits? We're talking about the impeachment of a president of the United States, duly elected. And the managers are complaining about lawyer lawsuits? The Constitution allows lawyer lawsuits. It's disrespecting the Constitution of the United States to even say that in this chamber. Lawyer lawsuits.
Thank God.
Here's the law.
Say it again.
Communications made by presidential advisors in the course of...
right? I don't think he...
For many generations, lawyer lawsuits have guided our Constitution and country. We defend them while the Democrats want to take them away. That totally sounds like a drug
This
Trump
is
speech.
so amazing. The idea... What it shows, though, is Jay Sekulow's capacity and ability to lie with indignation because he doesn't know what a lawyer lawsuit is, because that's not a thing. Lawsuits are a thing. Lawyers are a thing, but there is no term lawyer lawsuit.
Like, isn't every lawsuit a lawyer lawsuit?
It
For
is.
generations.
It is represented by a lawyer, but it doesn't mean anything.
Lawyer lawsuits have safeguarded our democracy.
And here he is getting so indignant and thinking he's scoring points, complaining about lawyer lawsuits. Like I say, no one raised lawyer lawsuits until after Jay Sekulow said that, when Adam Schiff got up and said this.
John Bolton would make good on that threat. Now, Mr. Sekulow says something about lawyer lawsuits. Now, I have to confess I wasn't completely following the argument, but something about lawyer lawsuits, that we're against lawyer lawsuits. Well, I don't know what that means, but I can tell you this. The Trump Justice Department is in court in that case and in other cases arguing Congress cannot go to court to enforce its subpoenas. So when they say...
All right, so there they go. So what Schiff is saying here, he's saying two things. One, he's saying that when the administration tells us to go get subpoenas, they're talking out of both sides of their mouth, because they're also sending in the administration's lawyers to argue that Congress doesn't have a right to subpoena this material. And then Schiff is saying, what are you talking about? No one said lawyers' lawsuits. That's not a thing. And in fact, it is not a thing. Everybody was laughing at Sekulow. And apparently what happens is this reporter, Igor Bobek, where is he from? I think he's from the Post.
Is he a HuffPost? Or no,
Washington Post. And he goes, I asked White House Legislative or Legal Affairs Director Eric Ueland what Jay Sekulow meant by lawyer lawsuits and whether he may have misheard a phrase. Ueland did not answer and walked away. And then later, Ueland came back to the press pen and said Sekulow did not mistakenly refer to a phrase from Representative Val Demings, an impeachment manager. When you read the transcript, it says lawyer lawsuit. But nobody can find the words lawyer lawsuits in the transcript except for when Sekulow said it. Can we play that again?
It's the lawyer lawsuit.
If somebody can come up with me now, there's a quality of this that I'm convinced that Steve Martin did this bit at one point where he got really sort of indignant about something. The best that we have.
Steve Martin also did the Joe Biden thing earlier.
The best that we have is the scene in The Jerk where Steve Martin is working as a gas attendant, and there's a sniper trying to shoot him. And he becomes suddenly aware of the gunshots and thinks that the sniper is trying to shoot the cans of oil on display.
He hates these cans! Stay away from the cans!
Lawyer lawsuit. Play this again. This is my favorite thing. We need to pull this many, many times. We need to have this drop.
By the way, lawyer lawsuits?
You disgust me.
Lawyer lawsuits?
How could you say those words?
We're talking about the impeachment of a president of the United States, duly elected. And the managers are complaining about lawyer lawsuits? The Constitution allows lawyer lawsuits.
Oh, it certainly does.
Say it again. One more time. Say the thing.
Unbelievable.
Since our founding, the founding fathers have represented themselves through lawyer lawsuits. This constitutional process has safeguarded our Constitution for a long time, and the Democrats are trying to change it.
Lawyer lawsuits.
Lawyer lawsuits are a core of who we are. Van Jones said that this speech made me presidential.
Lawyer lawsuits.
That is absolutely a Trump anesthetized speech material right there.
The indignation is what really sells it for me. That stuff is brilliant. I mean, that is pure in my estimation. That's one of the funniest things I think I've ever seen.
The Democrats, so consumed with hatred, want to get rid of lawyer lawsuits.
Here's John.